What is up, ladies and genitals? Horizon here, coming at you, coming through, and Season 3 hype is here. We have a lot to cover because there's a lot of stuff being added to the game in the mid-season update on May 20th, and it comes out on May 19th, 9 PM Pacific time. Some of the changes have already been live, so yeah. We will be getting the Rambo and John McLane operator bundles, which will be available to buy in the store. We will also be getting new prestige shop content, as well as weapon tuning for the snipers, assault rifles, LMGs, and pistols. The score streaks, equipment, field upgrades, and movement will also be tuned and rebalanced. The two new weapons that are incoming is the baseball bat and the M63 machine pistol. Next up is my favorite part of the patch, which is Standoff. The classic map from Black Ops 2 is confirmed to come out tonight. There will also be a Standoff 24/7 playlist, which is a nice touch. Standoff, the Pines, and Moscow will be added to the 12v12 mosh pit. Duga or Duga will be released as a multi-team dirty bomb map, and console players will now be able to see ping and packet loss like PC players as well. Now let's go over the weapon tuning changes. Starting off with the snipers, Treyarch wanted to make them different, so they gave them individual changes. I will leave a link to the patch notes in the description so you can read them for yourselves, but what they did was counterproductive in a way. They buffed the base stats or nerfed some of the snipers, like their bullet velocity and ADS speed, but they nerfed the bonuses you get from certain attachments like the Tiger Team, and now the handles like the airborne elastic wrap. So now they give you less bullet velocity, slower aim down sight speed, and the biggest change is snipers will now have customized flinch. It can be reduced by handle attachments, but overall this is a nerf to the snipers. Don't let the buff to the base stats of the snipers fool you, because who is running snipers without attachments? Overall it's pretty much a nerf. Moving on to the assault rifles, they all got buffs except for one assault rifle, which continues to confuse me. Starting off with the Krig 6, it got its bullet velocity changed from 625 meters per second to 686. The 19.7 Ranger barrel attachment got its bullet velocity bonus buffed from 100% to 126%, and the contour barrel bullet velocity penalty went down from 25% to 12%. It's not the biggest buff where it will make the Krig 6 into a overpowered gun, but at range now the bullet velocity will feel like you are getting lasered instantly from across the map. I think this is a good buff since the Krig 6 isn't that good up close anyway. For the AK47, this is a confusing buff to me because the AK47's bullet velocity went from the lowest at 490 meters per second to 702, which is second in the assault rifle category. The AK47 always had the highest base damage, low recoil, and the fastest time to kill up close out of all the assault rifles, but now they buffed the bullet velocity, which was its only weakness. It was already one of the best, if not the best, assault rifle in the game. Personally, I think this bullet velocity buff was a little too much. I think the AK47 would have been fine with a smaller buff to its bullet velocity. Maybe like 625 meters per second would have been okay, but I guess Treyarch thinks otherwise. Next up, we had the FFAR1, and it got its maximum damage raised from 27 to 28. And it got its bullet velocity reduced from 705 to 629 meters per second. Again, Treyarch messed up on the buffs. The damage buffs don't really change anything. All it does is it reduces the amount of headshots to kill, and reverting the bullet velocity from 705 to 629 meters per second is confusing because you're not really beaming with the FFAR1 from range unless you're dashy, since it has a lot of recoil. Treyarch fix the FFAR1's recoil. Its time to kill isn't even up to par to the AK47 in Pharah, so it really needs that recoil buff. The Groza got its headshot multiplier reduced from 1.4x to 1.25x, and its bullet velocity got buffed from 650 to 660. I think this is actually a minor nerf because the buff was so negligible, but the headshot multiplier increases the amount of headshots it takes to kill. The QBZ got its bullet velocity changed from 625 to 671 meters per second, so this is a minor buff. If you see any videos claiming the QBZ is broken or now it's the best assault rifle, it barely got changed, so don't believe them. Next we have the Pharah. It got the most changes. It got its headshot multiplier increased from 1.25x to 1.4x. It got its bullet velocity increased from 675 to 729 meters per second, giving it the highest value in the assault rifle class. The maximum damage got reduced from 31 to 30 and its minimum damage reduced from 28 to 27. Then the contour barrel bullet velocity penalty was reduced from 25 to 18%. To me, this was actually a nerf to the Pharah, so now I actually would have to give the edge to the AK47 for being the best assault rifle in the game, with the Pharah just behind it. Finally, in the assault rifle class, the XM4 got its bullet velocity buffed from 550 to 657 meters per second, making it even better for long range gunfights. Overall, these were great changes and was a great buff to the assault rifles. The winners from the buffs was definitely the AK47 and the Krig 6, while the FFAR1 is still far away from getting buffed into competitive form. Ironically enough, it just got a new bundle released for it. Moving on to the LMGs, the Stoner got its bullet velocity buffed to 675 meters per second to 714, and the Task Force barrel attachment got its bullet velocity bonus dropped from 100 to 41%. The RPD got its bullet velocity buffed from 475 to 684 meters per second, and the Task Force bullet velocity bonus dropped from 100 to 44%. Finally, the M60's bullet velocity was up from 600 to 791 meters per second, and the Task Force barrel bullet velocity bonus dropped from 100 to 39%. The big winners from this change is definitely the RPD and the M60. They are closing in on the Stoner's dominance in the LMG category. Next, all the pistols got minor buffs to their bullet velocity. The M1911 went from 200 to 206 meters per second. The Magnum went from 300 to 313 meters per second. And the Diamatis went from 250 to 257 meters per second. These changes are barely noticeable and you wouldn't even be able to tell if I didn't tell you. Finally, the R1 Shadowhunter crossbow was given sniper rifle flinch. Yeah, that is pretty much it. There are more changes in the patch notes that I will be linking in the description. These are just my thoughts on the multiplayer side, since that is what I play. Zombies will be getting a new game mode and will be adding Onslaught and Outbreak missions. If you want to read more, just go to the description. Other than that, namaste my friends, and I will talk to you all next time.